Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the Gamut Network. Today's show is an incredibly meaningful show because we are launching something incredibly special through our nonprofit partner, Runway of Dreams. And I have a woman on the show today that started with us back in 2016 at the beginning of a revolution of including people with disabilities in the fashion industry. She is an incredible woman who has now become a friend. And it is my true pleasure to welcome Shannon to the show. Hi, Shannon.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
Good. I can't believe it was 2016. We've been together for a while.
Really long time. I know. It's so crazy. Now, I would love to just highlight your career for a minute before we get into the exciting news, because I think it's very important to how and why we got to where we are today.
Yeah, do you want me to launch it? Okay, yeah. Well, Mindy and I know each other because I am a tailor and I work in the fashion industry. And she and I met through through Runway of Dreams' initial partnership with Tommy Hilfiger. I've been working with them for forever, probably 15, 20 years. And what I do, the kind of work that I normally do in my career pre-COVID times was I tailor. I'm the tailor that makes things look good for runway shows. Most of the stuff that is, I do like red carpet runway shows, advertising, magazine editorials, basically everybody that looks great that you see in fashion has a team of people that make them look good, and I'm the tailoring side of that.
Absolutely. And just to give some context to that, because we're so ingrained in the industry and whatnot, this is Shannon's role is so critically important in the truly in making everything look as amazing as it does, as she said, on our runways and our photo shoots, etc. And I had the incredible pleasure of starting to work with her and meet with her when, as she mentioned, we partnered with Tommy Hilfiger on the Adaptive collection, which is now Tommy Adaptive. Shannon, what was that first time like in our first photo shoot together? As I would imagine, although I could be wrong, that this was your first experience of working with kids with disabilities at the time. Now we're working with kids and adults. And having a mainstream brand embrace this population. What was that like for you?
Well, it's funny because I've been doing what I've been doing for a really long time. I think about 20 years. And so I've done countless numbers of photo shoots and runway shows. So I have gotten to a point where they start to blur together. And I particularly enjoy the doing photo shoots or shows that are something different than just models, because I love working with models too. Most models are really fun, interesting people, but so I always enjoy when most people will say like, oh, I don't want to work with kids. I'm always like, I'd love to work with kids. It's a different day, or so I'm always down for. I get particularly excited when I find out that the model we're shooting is a real life person, because it's just something different and interesting and just a different day for me. So I particularly enjoyed partnering with or working on this stuff with Runway of Dreams. And because they were just some interesting models. Like every person that we've shot or done dressed for the runway, they're always really interesting people with interesting backgrounds and a whole new set of stories to tell me. And I guess I also really love working with Runway of Dreams. I went on to do more than just Mindy knows. I've gone on to work with Runways of Dreams in particular, and not just through their partnerships with some of the brands I was connected to, because I just have fun. Mindy's got a great group of people around her. We have fun. It's very it's an exceptionally respectful environment to work in, and everybody is just kind and fun, and we get stuff done. And sometimes we're like, oh, are we gonna get it done? But we get it done. And the other thing, as far as like the actual idea of the adaptive clothing, when I did that first shoot with you guys, I was like, why isn't this happening? This is like a no-brainer. It reminds me, honestly, this will show you how old I am and how long I've been working. But I remember when people started to have plus size lines.
Yes.
And I remember when I was way back when I was in tailoring school, hearing somebody say, if you learn how to tailor for plus size women, you'll work forever because they can never get clothes to fit them. And I remember when I started seeing the lines come up, being like, of course this is going to be a huge moneymaker. And now every line of clothing has a plus size line.
Right.
And so with the adaptable clothing, I was like, this is an even huger population of our country. And it isn't just like what you would consider people with disabilities. Like when I started doing it, it was about the time that my aunt had a stroke, and she was having such a hard time getting pants over her new foot apparatus. And I was just like, well, pretty soon you should be able to go to any store and get a pair of pants that work for this. And they were, while there is some technology that Mindy was really brilliant in arranging to have made or thinking up herself, they're not terribly complicated ideas. It's just opening your mind to it. And as a tailor, I personally found it extremely exciting to work on a whole new set of clothes that had whole new ways of working. So yeah.
And you really played such a big role from the perspective of the models. So we had models with all different types of disabilities, ethnicities, ages, and you really treated them how we want the world to treat people with disabilities, and that's just as people. You treated them just like any other model and made the clothes fit beautifully on them, no matter what shape the body was in, or if they had a limb difference or in a wheelchair. And that's exactly the importance of what we are doing and why we are doing. And you have played such an important role in that. And now we are in a completely different world, the world of COVID-19.
Well, before you move on, I'd love to just say one thing about like the idea of treating people with disabilities like people. It just kind of was inwardly laughing, because I've done so much work with actresses and some difficult personalities, and I've just learned that you just kind of have to sit back and like relax and let a person be who they are. And so it wasn't really any different work that people have to be explained that like people with disabilities want to be treated like people. It's just it really just involves adapting yourself to the situation. Like, you know, if I'm adapting myself to a nervous actress that's having kind of a meltdown and I have to learn how to calm down, it's even more delightful just to relax enough to give somebody who maybe has a speech disorder or something time to like talk, or somebody who's having a hard time moving, just enough time to like not rush if
Absolutely.
Everyone would be able to do it if they just kind of like just relax and let it happen.
No, but I think that's a really important point, because I think sometimes there's a lot of fear behind what, you know, the attitude is, or how to approach somebody with a disability, when you know the reality is that you can insult anybody or say something wrong every minute of every day. I mean, you know, who knows what could come out of this mouth. But I think that dispelling that fear, and as you said, just relax and treat them like everybody else, then there's no difference. So now here we are in kind of our new normal, our world of COVID-19 and having to manage through this. And obviously this has really affected your vocation, as no more photo shoots, no more runways. The entertainment industry has been relatively shut down. So rather than just sitting and doing nothing, Shannon and some amazing other co-founders created something called the Skilled Laborers Brigade. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, well, as you were saying, the last day I worked, I was working on a TV show. It was our last day of fitting everybody, and it was a Friday the 13th, March 13th. And then Monday we were supposed to start shooting. And then the producer came in and just said, we're shutting the whole thing down. I mean, this was a major show. It was an ABC TV show. We went home, and I started going on all the social media and industry chat rooms and email lists, and seeing everybody saying, my production just shut down, my production just shut down, my production just shut down. And like everybody across the fashion and film and television industry just stopped. And then the next round of emails I saw was all these people that were industry garment makers saying, how can I make masks? How can I make these things that the doctors, we're seeing all these nurses and doctors plead for, we can make it. How do I make it? What do I make it with? And everybody had so many questions. Nobody knew what the best stuff to make was, what fabrics we're supposed to be doing, who do we get it to do? And I started to realize with one of the co-founders, Alexandra and I were talking, and we were like, what needs to happen is we need somebody to organize all this. The governor had done a call for people to help, and I saw thousands of people emailing him, and I just said, well, what we need is one person to overlook this group of labor, skilled labor, that can make this stuff instead of 1,000 people trying to figure out how to do it on their own. And so that was the birth of Skilled Laborers Brigade. And then 2 days later, we brought in the other two founders, and Rachel Kibbe and Annie, and they both, offered, because I didn't understand medical fabrics. I've only ever done, high-end fashion, and so they were able to bring more of their perspective in, and so what we did was we just put a call out on Facebook and Twitter and all of our social media, sites. And we ended up gathering about 500 garment makers and a collection of about, 6 factories. And the reason we also thought it was best for us to be doing this, the home sewers have done a great job, but we have access to industrial equipment. So like a factory, we have 19 cutting machines in our ranks, and one of those can cut 250 layers of fabric at a time. So like in one day you could cut 5,000 masks on one of these machines. And so that's why the home sewer and stuff is doing a great job, but it's just absolutely physically impossible for somebody to put out those numbers. And then we're all people that sew all day every day, so I can bang a mask out in like 5 minutes, cut from fabric to face, and so we put that together. We were pursuing like lots of different, trying to get work through the very complicated, and that maybe we wanted to start pursuing more of the volunteer realm, which is where the idea of my friends at Runway of Dreams popped in my head. And I said, I know this great group of people who are in touch with an amazing population that could definitely use masks. And everybody right now, everyone wants masks. Like it's very heartbreaking how many people need this stuff. And it's very hard to figure out who to give it to. And I just knew that it would be done more efficiently. And I know the lengths that Runway of Dreams has already come in just the 8 seasons that I've been working with them. So I knew that this was probably a group that could really help us where we need help, like with the distribution and the fundraising and those kind of things.
So when I did get the call from you and you told me about what you're doing, it was such a beautiful combination of what we've both been working so hard for, and at a time that I think everybody has to pivot what they do and what their livelihoods are to help our world. And so this was a great opportunity for Runway of Dreams to pivot a bit, as we really need to protect our population. And we are, obviously, our tagline is clothing can make a difference. And in this case, clothing can actually save lives. And that's through having masks and gloves and gowns. And the important, and what I was so grateful for when you called me, was that the population of people with disabilities are obviously in the high risk category for COVID. And so therefore, when, you know, the world gets back to somewhat of normalcy, and yet we're still social distancing or what have you, our population is still going to have underlying medical needs. And so therefore,
you said to me, you know, these are some people that probably needed masks before this happened. Actually, it wasn't just because I'd been working with you that I thought of you. We have been contacted by a lot of group homes and schools, and I had thought, instead of us just scrambling around trying to fill here and there, I knew that you guys would be better with the organization of that. And I also have been in close contact with a lot of the larger home sewing and makerspace groups, and I know that they are really focusing on getting stuff to hospitals and nursing homes and stuff like that. And I never once heard anybody talking about people with disabilities. And so that, and I was getting all these contacts from some of these homes and schools. And that's why I just thought, I know this is probably, I mean, unfortunately, people with disabilities are often the last ones thought of. I mean, just look at accessibility.
So we're going to make them priority. And with our partnership with your amazing organization, we are actually today launching a new campaign. If anybody is following me on Facebook, me personally, Mindy Scheier, and Runway of Dreams, you'll see that I've started these antics called #Shelter Chic that I couldn't bear to not dress every day, and I couldn't bear to do the tasks that we had to do wearing workout clothes. So I don't, and I get dressed up for every activity that I need to do, and it's called #Shelter Chic. So we couldn't think of a better way to launch this new campaign than a #Shelter Chic challenge that we are asking all of our Runway of Dreams members, all of anybody that has somebody in their life with a disability, or anybody that just wants to have a good time, please shelter chic yourself. Take a picture, put it on Facebook, #Shelter Chic at Runway of Dreams, and most importantly, go to runwayofdreams.org, and you will see a link to the Shelter Chic Challenge, in which we will be raising money so that the Skilled Labor Brigade can be making as many masks and down the road gowns and other things that are desperately needed for the population of people with disabilities. $5 can make a difference. $5 can give somebody a mask that could save their life. And we are incredibly excited about this partnership. We're so thrilled that we can truly live up to our tagline of clothing can make a difference. And in this case, it will hopefully save lives, because we believe that if you look good and you feel good, you can do good. So I am just so excited to announce this new challenge.
Everybody's stuff.
I know, me too. It's going to be so much fun. But if for some reason you really don't want to put on something fun, that's okay too. You can
maybe do something artistic. Or,
yes, you know, anything. Dress up your dog. Dress up your cat.
Yeah.
Anybody can make a shelter chic. Dress up your kids. But if for some reason you are completely anti, you can just go to runwayofdreams.org and please donate to the Shelter Chic Challenge so that we, along with the Skilled Laborers Brigade.org, can really help get this necessary product out to our population of people with disabilities and those that are taking care of them.
And actually, I believe it's skilledlaborersbrigade.com.
Oh,
and just so
okay, good.
Just so that you guys know, we are taking this on as an all volunteer project. We have, we've had some sources that have donated some fabric to us. And my group of garment workers are so excited to be able to be part of being of service to people during the situation. It's hard. Our whole industry feel good that they're able to do some good while they're at home instead of just watching too much TV.
Absolutely. Wait, I'm going to pause you for 1 second because I just had a fun idea.
Oh, I feel like I should get something fancy. I can't wait to dress up my cat.
Wow, see, there you go. There's so many ideas. We can all be hashtag shelter chiking. So let's go, everybody. I want to see what you have in your closet. So please don't forget to hashtag shelter chic, tag Runway of Dreams, donate to our Shelter Chic Challenge so that we, along with Skilled Laborers Brigade, can truly make a difference, because clothing can make a difference, and together we can save lives. Shannon, thank you so much for being here. I always love seeing you, and I love that we're on this journey together. I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, and I can't wait to see everybody's videos.
Me too, me too. Oh, obviously you have to do one too.
I know, definitely.
Yeah.
I'll get on it right now. I'll find my fanciest dress.
Exactly. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Gamut Network, as well as our social handles at Gamut Management, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Don't forget to donate. Bye.
Bye, thanks.